Hello and welcome back to Music Nuggets. Today's nugget is all about writing riffs, and particularly writing riffs with melodic minor modes. So we're going to explore what the melodic minor scale is. I've done some lessons on this before, and how to sort of pick out different modes and what's interesting about those modes, and maybe what chords they generate, and also how the scale's balanced and how it lends itself to writing interesting riffs that are actually, no pun intended, really melodic. It's quite a sort of misunderstood scale. So yeah, that's what today's all about. What I just played for you there was part of an album that I've been writing for about 10 months now, and it's nearly ready to go. And that's something that I've been doing lots, just exploring melodic minor chord structures, melodic minor modes, and how they feel for writing with, basically. So let's jump in. Let's look at what melodic minor is. So melodic minor is basically a minor scale with a raised sixth and a raised seventh, or you could see it as a major scale with a flattened third. In this case, the shape that I've chosen here, because of how these riffs are formed, I think it's more useful to see this as a major scale with a flattened third. So if we take, this is on fret 5, so it would be D major, and then flatten the third. So 1, 2, flat third, 4th, 5th, major 6, major 7, and back to the root. So it's quite odd in that the bottom of it is minor and the top of it is major. And I think that's actually really useful for writing riffs that to and fro between those feelings. It's as if you're just really quickly borrowing chords from two different keys, both major and minor. I think that's really interesting for riff writing. The riff that I played there, that doesn't feel like the home chord. So even though that's mode 1 of melodic minor, everything that's coming off of the fifth of that, of the A, feels like the home chord. And I think that's really natural, because basically it creates like a, if you flip that on its head, if you see this as the 1 chord, so these are the modes of melodic minor. If you flip it on its head and you see the A as the 1 chord, then 1, 2, 3, 4, it's basically like a minor 4 to major 1 resolve, which is really common. Like the Beatles used it a lot. And that's like you're borrowing a chord from a minor key for this new 1 chord. And you can create all sorts of really interesting, epic sounding travels for that, like melodic travels. So like, if we take it up here, you can have little bits of chords. So, you know, really epic sounding stuff. And that's just me taking bits of a melodic minor scale. I'll do it more obviously. So like down here, melodic minor. All I did was travel through a melodic minor scale to resolve on the 5th chord of melodic minor, but we're thinking of it as like our 1 chord of our song, if you like. I could explain that in loads of different ways forever, and unless you've studied like parallel major and minor, which I've also got a video on, I'll link to that below, you might not get that at first, but hopefully you can get how the riffs have been formed just from me playing the modes. So I'll do that. So the first part of the riff is coming from that A mix a Lydian flat 6 place. So basically, if you play, it's like any set of modes. If you play the D melodic minor to the 5th degree, 4, 5, and then you keep playing the scale, you will get what pops out as a Mixolydian flat 6. If I bring that down an octave just to make it a bit clearer, root, 2nd, major 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 6, flat 7, and then the root again. And like most of the modes that come from this, it's like you've got a major bottom and a minor top, or a minor bottom and a major top. So in this case it's the major bottom and the minor top. So, and then if you descend from the root, it feels minor instead of major. So that's really interesting in terms of being able to really sort of to and fro between feels in a riff. So like the riff that I was playing in that was like, so it's like the bottom part feels major and the top part feels minor. And that's basically what that riff's doing. It's going through root, major third, fourth, fifth, and then it comes back down through root, flat 7, flat 6, fifth. So it comes back down through the minor intervals. And then it moves to mode 7 of this scale. So that would be C sharp super Locrian. This is the only one where the name doesn't actually say how the scale's built. But basically if you take the melodic minor, this is the simplest way to see it, and put a semitone on the bottom of it, and then just play it through to the 7th instead of the root. So you've got, then that's your super Locrian sound. It works really good with altered dominant chords. It's used a lot in jazz. All sorts of altered dominant chords. It's great with good with all altered dominant chords basically. So that's the next part of the riff. That's going. So that's kind of, what's that doing? It's going through like the root, and that's like a minor third to a flattened fourth, which is kind of a major third, to the sharp 4 or flat 5th of that scale. Technically it's a flat 5th. And then, so that's all really weird. It's like root, minor third, flattened 4th, flattened 5th. And then it comes back down. Again, I'm doing that thing of to and fro in between the two different tonalities within one mode. So what's that doing? So that's like a root, a flat 7, and a flat 6. It's just really weird. I found that with my ears, basically. But that's basically just coming from that scale. All the notes are in that. So that's like starting here and finishing here, mode 7. And then I'm using mode 4. Actually, no, I'm using mode 3 for the next part of it. F Lydian Augmented. So all that is a Lydian scale, a Lydian mode, with a sharpened 5th. So like root, 2nd, major 3rd, sharp 4, sharp 5, 6th, major 7, and then back to the root again. And that would throw out like a major 7 with, say, a sharp 4 or a sharp 5. You wouldn't use just a normal 5th with that. So that's like, it's kind of like this sound. That's a major 7 with a sharp 11, sharp 4, or a major 7 with a sharp 5. So it's really quite sci-fi sounding. And the riff is going root, major 3rd, sharp 4, sharp 5, so it's really augmented sounding. And it comes down through the root, the major 7, major 6, and sharp 5. But you can hear that the bottom part and the top part of these have really different qualities for most of these riffs, and that's what interested me. That's what my ears were drawn to when writing this stuff. And then it's really just mode 1 to resolve back round. So it's going through D melodic minor, but it's using the minor part first. So that's root, minor third, fourth, fifth, and then it comes back down through the major thing. So it's root, major 7, major 6 to the 5th. And so you're getting that kind of epic thing from the minor 4 to the major 1, even though it's technically a 1 to a 5 in this weird key. Again, like, do a bit of research on parallel major and minor, like borrowing chords to understand that minor 4 thing. But basically these riffs are all just completely coming out of melodic minor, from D melodic minor, and it leads to really epic stuff. And I've just done a bit of like swapping between those for the resolve at the end. So it's jumping between the 1 and the 3. So the D melodic minor stuff and the Lydian augmented stuff. And I think they have notes in common. Whenever things are a third apart, they have strong notes in common. So it's just like playing on that tension until it resolves back to this A mixolydian place. So like, and then I play the same thing up an octave for the F Lydian. And then this is the first time that I stray out a key, just so that there's a bit of like a chromatic climb. So it's basically going through a G major kind of thing, or G mixolydian. And then it goes, that's you back into that melodic minor key because you're using the major 7 again. And then that's still playing on, maybe it's, no, it is more like the tension area. And then that's it resolving, so it's like, and that's playing on the augmented nature of that. That's like going like, you know, it's like doing that kind of thing, just ascending major thirds. So yeah, that's quite a quick explanation, not too much depth, because I think if you're going to use this sound and you're drawn to this sound, you should really explore it and find what you like on your own terms. It's been quite a long period of study for me to figure out the things that I've figured out about it. I've got several lessons back in the video history, I'll link to some of them down below, about individual modes of melodic minor and how I think they're useful. And that changes all the time. As I find out more about this scale and as I explore it more and compose more with it, you start to realize there's so many more things that you can do with it. So I think the thing to do first is really just figure out the individual modes. There's information about that all over the place on the internet. Figure out what chords you can use with them. Again, I'll link to some videos below, 'cause, I've done lessons on that too. But really, if your ear's drawn to it, then you should probably step by step just figure it out by yourself and go from there. This is how I use it. I think it's awesome, and I hope you've enjoyed what you saw today. If you did, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much. Bye bye.